Welcome to our do-it-yourself bubble lamp experiment. First, safety. We're going to put on our safety goggles. And we're going to put on our gloves. Next, we're going to take water. We're going to add 1/2 cup of water to this flask. But at home, you can use either a Ziploc bag or you can use a clear cup. And now that we have all the water in, we're going to add 2 drops of food coloring. 1, 2. And now we're going to cut to see a little bit more about what's happening.
You might be wondering, why did the food coloring spread out when Dr. Jake dropped it in the water? I'll show you. It's something we call diffusion. You see, when the drops first come into the water, they're in a tight little space, but they want to spread out naturally, and that's why you see the food coloring spread throughout the flask.
Thanks, Noah. Now we're going to go on to the next step of our experiment. We're going to add 1.5 cups of oil to our blue mixture here. Now we're going to do a little talking about why we see this separation here between the blue layer and the yellow layer.
As Dr. Jake just demonstrated, when we poured the oil into the solution of water, we saw 2 distinct layers. On top, we saw the yellow layer, and on the bottom, we saw the blue water and food coloring layer. Now, the reason these 2 layers don't mix is because of something called hydrophobicity. Oil is very hydrophobic. You can think of hydrophobic as being scared of water, and therefore these 2 materials don't want to mix. Now, since we found the oil on the top of the solution and the water on the bottom, do we think that means oil or water would be more dense? Great answer. That means water is the more dense liquid.
Thank you for the inspired explanation, Dylan. Now we're going on to the next part of our experiment. We're going to crush up some Alka-Seltzer antacid tablets into small pieces. And we're going to drop them into our solution here. Now, there's a chemical reaction that's beginning to form. And we're going to go to our friend Sam to discuss it.
The chemical reaction that you just saw can be written like this. It's composed of some reactants and some products. To the left of this arrow are the reactants of the reaction, which in this case were the tablets that we added to the oil and the water. Inside the tablets in solid form were these 2 separate molecules, but when we added them to water, they can interact and react together.
And how do we know there's a reaction happening? Because there's different products than there were reactants. We see bubbles coming up throughout the solution, and we know that there's still water within the flask. And those cycling around is what causes the lava lamp. Now, written down here are the chemical structures of everything that was actually in the glass. Now, these are super cool. It's super interesting to understand all this. And if you want to learn more, make sure you take as many chemistry courses as you can.
Thank you, everybody, for participating in our experiment. If you have any questions about what was going on today, please reach out to your teachers. Also, if you have any questions, contact the university to see what kind of science courses you can get involved with before and when applying to college. We look forward to seeing you guys in the future.
Go Badge!